The first Saturday in May of each year is International Female Ride Day. The objective of the Ride Day is to promote, to encourage, and to build awareness into women's motorcycle riding. Now, I am uniquely unqualified to talk about this subject because I am, in fact, not a female. You may have noticed. But I have reached out and contacted a few other riders who have graciously consented to be interviewed on camera to help promote the sport of riding. So we're going to have a couple of videos in this series of me interviewing other Ryker or Spyder riders.
So, nice to meet you again.
Same here, thank you very much.
Oh, I'm glad that you participate in our little madness.
Yeah. I love madness. Okay.
First of all, tell us who you are.
My name is Laura Henson, empty nester, got involved with the Am Spyder and changed my life.
Okay. Well, we're going to dig into that a little bit deeper. So you ride which specific Spyder? What is that?
The F3T.
And what year?
2021.
2021.
Mm-hmm. Still
shiny, brand new?
Yes.
Okay. So what got you started into riding to begin with?
It was probably my husband. Never thought about motorcycles. They scared me. But a few years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I would never let him have one. Let me take that back. I wouldn't let him have one until a few years ago. We're empty nesters. It's like, okay, I'm all right now. The kids can live without us if something happened. So he got a motorcycle and he'd go out on his rides. And I'd be like, well, why am I sitting here doing nothing? So I'm like, okay, let me look into the trikes. So I did look into the trikes and thought that was the way to go. And in 2020, March 2020, known for other things, I had signed up for a trike class at TCC and it got canceled. They kept pushing it back until the end of May. They finally said, we're giving your money back. Obviously, we're not going to be holding these classes. That ended up being a blessing because it made me research more. And I had people tell me that the Spyder would be better, but I kept thinking, I'm a woman, large hips, my center of gravity needs the two wheels in the back. But when I started researching and found out that the Spyder was easier to handle, easier to steer, things like that, I'm like, ooh, I want easy. I don't want to make this any harder than I have to. So got to take the class last year, thanks to Miriam and her video about taking the class as a woman. And at the class, fell in love. 3 days later bought this and never looked back.
So you bought your Spyder new?
Yes.
And just to plug for the local dealership, where did you purchase your Spyder?
All Out Cycles.
In Chesapeake?
Yes, they were phenomenal. It was actually, so last year, went to the class. Of course, we all left wanting to buy one, and we'd been hearing how there was not an inventory, just like everything else. And I'm like, no, I've got to get it now because I'll forget everything. Went to All Out Cycles. The class was over on Sunday. Tuesday, we went to All Out Cycles. They knew what I wanted. He said, I'll try to get you the blue one, but I can't guarantee what's your second choice, your third choice. That was on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I got the call. I got you your blue bike. So they've been phenomenal. And actually this afternoon, I'm riding it over there for its yearly checkup, inspection, that type of thing. But I have not had a problem at all.
What do you like the most about riding?
The freedom. I know that sounds cliche, but having had a fear of the motorcycles all those years and never seeing myself on it, now understanding that there's real freedom in it. And I knew I would never be a good passenger. I wouldn't be, so I needed my own. And I feel safe and secure, total respect for the road and the traffic. That does not go away. But it just makes me feel that freedom, and I'm enjoying something, and it took away some of the fear.
What is the longest ride that you've taken on your Spyder?
Yeah, it hasn't been too long, probably Smithfield.
Okay.
It's only been a year, and my husband rides a motorcycle, so we go out together and I follow him. And I needed a long time to gain the confidence, feeling good. Unfortunately, we spent the first 6 weeks of my riding out in Pungo with the curvy roads. So I'm like, oh, this is exhausting. And then finally had the guts to take rides to like Smithfield, Suffolk. We go down to the Outer Banks, towards the Outer Banks, and just fell in love. Once I could get away from the curvy roads, just fell in love. So that's the longest we've gone. But we have plans this year to go up to Chincoteague and Manteo. We know we want to do that and spend the night. Drive down, spend the night, and then come back. So
cool.
That's the dream.
Very good. And of those rides that you've already taken, do you have a favorite?
Probably Smithfield, because you get there and it's such a quaint little town. We go through that and then ride back. Honestly, though, because my experience is not vast, every time I'm on it, I love the ride.
So it's more than not the destination, it's the journey.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you talked about some of the places that you're planning on going this coming season. Do you have any dream trips that you're maybe thinking about on the Spyder?
Last summer, we wanted to do basically what you and Miriam are doing this year. My dream is to get out to the west, where all those roads where you never see another car, and the red soil and the plateaus and the mesas and the buttes. When you see those in the movies, it just looks phenomenal. So that's the dream. Because we both each ride our own bike, we kind of figured out maybe we won't be able to do that ride. We might have to put them on a trailer, drive out there, and then ride from there. But that's the dream.
Now, May 7th is International Female Ride Day. Will you be riding on that day?
I will be. We go out every weekend.
Now, I see you have a lot of your own gear. Clearly, you spend a little bit of money on it. Do you have a favorite piece of gear?
I don't know if I have a favorite piece of gear, just because to me this is necessary, so it's just part of the uniform. A piece that I don't think I could ever live without is my comms. But that's because I'm usually riding with my husband. I'm not riding solo. This was my first solo, was this morning coming here.
Now, for other women who are considering becoming a Spyder or Ryker rider, what advice would you have for them?
Go forth and conquer. Don't let it, there's no fear. Don't let it hold you back. I knew my budget. I mean, there are other vehicles out there that, you know, fancy schmancy, but I knew my budget, and this is exactly what I needed. I know there are women out there who have no fear and they're already motorcycle riders or whatever, and it's great, but for those like me, somebody, I didn't even know I needed this till I got it.
Have you had a chance to ride in the rain yet?
No, we would head down towards the Outer Banks or Elizabeth City or Hertford, and all of a sudden we'd see these huge black clouds come, and we'd turn around and head back. We've tried not to be in the rain.
Okay. You'll find it's not as bad, especially when the weather's mild. Actually, in the summertime, a rain shower is kind of welcome.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, we do talk about how we had an experience a couple weeks ago, the wind.
Yes.
We experienced wind we had not experienced before. That was crazy. And so maybe you can answer this.
Yes.
If you've ridden out west or on the plains, we've wondered, is it that much windier in the plains?
We I rode going out there in 2019 through the panhandle of Texas, and the wind kicked up to 35 miles an hour and straight across. It was, for me, being on the back of the Spyder, because it would buffet me. The Spyder was like it was on rails, straight and as stable as you can possibly imagine.
Okay.
I would go past a vehicle that was in the other lane that would shield me from the wind, and the wind would stop for a moment, and I would feel, whoa, I'm fighting that. But then I'd go back into the wind again, and I got to hang on to the handlebars because of the wind. But the vehicle was incredibly stable.
Okay.
So that was one of the things. A lot of people, just when you're on two wheels, you're fighting that.
Yes. Yep. I'm seeing my husband lean, and I'm like, what are you doing? But yeah, okay.
If you were somebody to ask you, would you recommend a Can-Am Spyder or a Ryker to somebody else, what would you tell them about it?
I think I go back to some of the things I've said before. It gave me something I didn't know I was missing. The freedom, the stability, feeling safe and in control. I would not feel that on two wheels. It's just, gosh darn fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun. You look at it, it's fun. You ride it, it's fun.
Have you had people come up to you and you've stopped and asked you about it?
Yes.
It tends to draw a crowd.
It does. At gas stations, yes, it does. And it's fun when you see another one on the road because it's still not as common.
Yes. So
and
you're instantly like family.
Yeah. So I've had some people do this instead of the universal where they're like, ah. But yeah, it just, I can't say enough about it. I can't think of anything negative about my experience.
Very good.
One of the things that sold me on the Spyder was when I was researching and saw how people who have physical disabilities can ride a Can-Am, a Spyder or a Ryker, that they can't ride another vehicle. That touched my heart, and I'm like, I'm proud to be part of that. So that was something else that swayed me as well.
I wanted to take a minute to thank Laura for being our first interviewee in this series. Laura, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. So we've had a few inquiries. When are we going to do this lap around America? Well, we are in the final packing stages, and we expect to hit the road the weekend of the 30th with the first video coming live to you on YouTube the 7th of May, which is actually the International Female Ride Day. And I'm going to do my best to put Miriam in the driver's seat that day. We'll see how that goes. So we are in the final planning stages for that epic asphalt odyssey. So thank you very much for watching, and as we're going to end this up with a few more of your pictures that you've seen us of other Spyder riders and enthusiasts. Thanks for watching. Take care.
We can all ride.